Good evening, everybody. I thought this evening I would talk about how we approach things that weigh on us and issues that we have in our life. This past week, I started back in therapy. And it's kind of an odd thing to decide to go back into a weekly session of therapy. But I decided to go back into therapy because last Sunday I turned 66. The I'm going through this thing where I'm making peace with getting older. I see the changes in my body. I see other people aging. I see people. So one of the issues, I want to make sure I'm on the right track. And that's kind of what therapy has always been for me. It's just kind of a recalibrating of seeing where you're at. You're on the right track. And especially if you have some things that maybe you think, am I processing this right? Am I looking at this right? So this past week, I started back in therapy, and there's three things. Well, there's several things I want to just look at, and one is my aging, which is tied into a relationship I have with Ava that we've been together now 12 years. There's a pretty good distance of age between me and Ava. And also, when I met Patrick, when we got together 12 years ago and started living together, he was a young man. Over the last 2 years, Patrick has transitioned into Ava. So there's just a complex set of issues that's going on, and I'm fine. I'm healthy. I love life. I enjoy living. We have a great time. But I decided maybe I should talk to somebody and make sure that I'm not just lightly covering over things that could be things that I might need to really deal with. So anyhow, I started back to therapy this past week. We did an online session on video, which I kind of liked. I thought it would take away some of the personal interaction of it, but actually I think I like it better. Just like right here, right now, talking to this camera, I kind of like it better than being on stage in some way. It's just more. Well, I can't say that because I love being on stage. I love being on stage. I'm such a. But anyhow, when we were talking about starting a session back, they asked me, because I'm going to Positive Impact. Positive Impact is a wonderful program in Atlanta for people who are HIV positive or are connected to it in some kind of way, and they offer services on a really low scale to HIV positive people. And so in talking to them, they said, do you have a preference, male, female? I said, yes, I do have a preference. I'd prefer an older gay male, thinking, well, we could share, when it comes to the aging part of it, he could kind of have a little bit of an understanding because he's going through it. Well, come to find out, and I agreed to this, they have a young intern, African-American female, and she's adorable. But I decided they're like, yeah, the first session or two they'll have a peer of hers overseeing her, sitting in on the session, and and it really helps. So anyhow, I agreed to it. I don't know how, to be honest, I don't know how long it'll go on, but but I agreed to it. And so the thing I've learned about, I think maybe there was some part of me in my young life, in my teenage years, where I would try to run from things. In my young years, if I caught myself having attraction to a guy, I would run from it. Now I think it started maybe 40, and when I felt issues coming up, I run toward them. I want to confront them. I want to make sure I'm not missing nothing in the process of it. And here's what I would say to you that might be listening to this tonight. Change is always happening every single day of our life. I maybe reached a few points in my life where it was kind of like just steady as you go, but most of the time, change is always happening. Relationships are always evolving. You know, I'm telling you, whatever relationship you're in right today, if you're with this person a year from now, it will be different. I'm not saying it'll be better. I'm not saying it'll be worse, but I can guarantee you it will be different. We grow as people. We grow as couples. We grow in relationships. We grow apart. We grow together. We evolve. In mine and Patrick's case, and I say Patrick for this thing because we're talking about the post, the pre, the Ava. Statistically, relationships that have a greater distance of age between the two people have a higher rate of longevity than like two people that's 30 years old and they get together. And the studies have shown that, say, if a relationship's 10 years apart, these two people will never be at the same place in life. While one's reaching one place, the other one's done moved on from that place and reaching another place. Therefore, theoretically, they say that really keeps a relationship interesting. You know, sort of two people like two shades of gray paint just sitting there looking at each other. What I wanted to tackle, and I'm doing this tonight because I think if somebody might listen to this, even the other last week when I was talking to my cousin Connie and her mom and dad had died, I told her, I said, well, Connie, it might be a good idea for you to go talk to somebody professionally. And I know most Christians reject that. I know most people, like, I got the Lord. I don't need to talk to nobody. You know, Jesus is my lawyer. Jesus is my doctor. Jesus is my comforter. He's my psychiatrist. It could be helpful. And for those of you that's listening to this, you have the answer to everything that's going on in your life, all the change, all the ups and downs, the change of jobs, the change in relationships, dealing with the change in your health, in your age. The answers are around us, are there. A therapist will never heal nobody. I know even when I talk to this, what I call a young girl, but that's, I don't know, in this day and time that could be disrespectful. I say this young lady who's getting her education. I realized in the hour that we talked, I maybe talked 55 minutes, and she talked 5 minutes. But she was just getting the foundations and what we're going to be doing in the weeks ahead. A lot of people, let me just say this, a lot of people who are in a relationship, they will use issues to come up as an excuse to get out of the relationship. They'll go to therapy, he's gone all the time, or she's out of town a lot of time, her job is so important, I'm feeling left behind, But at the core of it, they're using that the therapy and the process as kind of cover to give them an excuse to get out of a relationship. I told the young lady right up front when I told her the issues of being with someone for 12 years, of that person transitioning, and all that. I said, now here's what I don't want out of this relationship. I go out of this therapy. I go into this therapy, and I want you to be aware, I am not trying to find a reason to get out of this relationship, because this relationship to me is the most important thing in my life, if I have to be honest about it. The most important thing in my life. I love being with Ava. Oh my God, I couldn't picture my life without her. I want to be healthy in this process, and therapy is kind of like a self-help for me. So here's what I would say in this thing tonight as I get off of here. I used to have Sammy and John. Even then, I went to a professional therapist. When I tested positive for HIV, back when I was 49, 50, somewhere there, I went to therapy for a couple of years after that. I wanted to be aware of how I'm processing this. When I went through my divorce of 20 years, when I was 39, then the company I worked for provided, there was a place on West Beach Street called Family something, which provided therapy sessions. When I went through my divorce, I went to therapy. When I went through HIV, I went through therapy. Went through therapy a couple other times for stuff. And I haven't been in years, but even then I had Sammy and John. Oh my God, if you've got a Sammy and John in your life, sometimes you can pick up the phone and you can just kind of kick back and spend an hour with somebody. And basically, a therapist is, from my experience, they've never ever showed me the answer. They've never had the answers. They're just kind of a conduit to bring the answers out of you. Let you pull the answers out of yourself, which is a beautiful thing. A beautiful thing. So, you might need a therapist. You might need to talk to somebody professionally. Your life's worth it. Your happiness is worth it. Your joy is worth it. So anyway, it'll be interesting. I'm going through this phase in life these last 3 or 4 years where I'm sharing my life openly, honestly, truthfully, as much as possible. Try not to hold too much back. Although we're living in a society where it'd kind of be good if people did hold a little bit back. But so over the weeks ahead, months ahead, it'll give me something to share, talk about, therapy. I love all you sweet people. Salutations to every one of you. Be blessed. Be joyful. Be kind. Be sweet. I pray, speak, demand, declare with all my being blessings upon you and your house. May, in the old school way of phrasing things, may the hand of the Lord be on you and be heavy upon you. May your bills be paid. May you sleep good at night. Woo! I felt that. May you sleep good at night. May you digest your food beautifully. May every function in your body, from your kidneys to your bladder to your liver to your lungs to your heart to your colon, may it all be in good health. May the blood flow freely down through the very tips of your toes and back up your legs. Yes. Speaking peace, blessings, love, joy, happiness over you. God bless each and every. In this moment, I love everybody that might be hearing this. I love you. God bless y'all.